Hey, I'm Jessie Farrell, and you're watching the 24 Hours podcast.
T-minus 4, 3, 2, 1.
Following is a 24 Hours podcast.
Playing.
CD's called Nothing Fancy, brand new CD. Jessie Farrell, thank you for
Thanks.
taking the time. Give us a story here. You're a Vancouver girl.
Mm-hmm.
How long you been performing around, and where do your roots come from?
I have been performing around Vancouver for a long time. The last kind of 8 months I've been touring with a whole bunch of different country artists like Emerson Drive, George Canyon, Johnny Reed, Aaron Pritchett. So I started out in Vancouver. I live in Vancouver, and I wrote a lot of the songs in Vancouver and recorded most of it here, and then went to Nashville, finished the record, and I'm now getting ready to go nuts touring across Canada.
Is Vancouver a good country town?
Okay, Vancouver's a good town, but I don't know about country town.
I mean, is there a lot of acceptance for country music in suburban cities like Vancouver?
I don't think I've had sort of the need to figure that out yet. I don't know if there's a lot of country artists. There really aren't very many country artists who live in Vancouver. I kind of get teased a bit as, you know, being a bit different coming from the city. But I spent a lot of my weekends and my summers in the country, and I think that sort of a lot of the music I listened to was country music growing up.
Who were some of your influences, for example?
I love Emmylou Harris. You know, well, Bob Dylan is more folky. Then Dixie Chicks, Alison Krauss. Kind of the list, it goes on and on and on. Now, you know, I'm a Shania fan, and I mean, I love lots of old country. Lots of Dolly Parton has always been in my life, you know, since I was little. Yeah.
So you kind of incorporate that. Do I want to use the term country pop sound? Is
That's okay.
Is that fair to use?
That's totally fair to use. I think. Well, first of all, you know, I wrote a bunch of songs. I've been writing music and doing shows around Vancouver locally for a long time. You know, I've been working at my craft for a long time. And this record, I said, okay, I want to incorporate all the instruments that I love so much, which are banjo, fiddle, you know, slide guitar, dobro, all these things that are country instruments. And some of the albums I referenced are country records. So I ended up with what is a country record, but I love pop music, so it's a pop country record. Yeah. And
the instruments, like for example, the dobro, I mean, that's almost like uniquely a country instrument, but
Yeah.
it's such a great instrument, and it's unfortunate that we don't get to hear that more often.
Yeah, I mean, I'm noticing a lot of people who are sending me messages or saying, you know, I'm not a country listener, and now I'm a country listener. Or, you know, I like people like Shania Twain, I like Dixie Chicks, but I'm not a huge country person. Your record is now sitting in my car, it's stereo, you know, so it's a good way of, if you don't know country very well, it's a good way of getting into country. And if you are in country, it's a good way of just continuing country, because it kind of works both ways. You know, I have a lot of people who are, you know, diehard country fans, and then there's people who kind of are more poppy people, so.
Now, being a Vancouver girl and you're getting played on JR here in Vancouver, I mean, that must be pretty cool to be able to drive in your car and punch yourself in and go, wow, that's me.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, you know. I think I'm either a total ditz or I don't know. I haven't thought that much about it. When I hear it, I'm like, good, it's playing. That's good. It's good. Very important that it's playing. So I'm happy that it's playing. I'm happy that it's catching on. My job is to make sure that, you know, I worked really hard at making a record, and that when I'm traveling around Canada, you know, in a van or bus or wherever I am, running around like a maniac doing shows and making sure I see as many people as possible, that I'm taking the time to spend quality time with people, chit-chat with Canadians, get to know what they like, what they don't like, you know, and thank them for coming up to the shows, and hope that this becomes something that is a little bit timeless in their life, that they don't just kind of hear it and move on. You know, it's something that hopefully they can connect with.
But that's also a quality, I think, that's somewhat unique to country artists, because, I mean, they really have the connection with their fans, more so than, I'm not denigrating other genres, but country is really known for really caring about their fans.
Yeah. I noticed that when I go to some country shows, you know, there's a human connection I can't even fully explain, but even within the Canadian country music community, you know, being the opening band for some of these artists, you expect that they will completely either say hello to you and then ignore you and do their own thing. They don't have to talk to me. But they've read my bio. You know, George Canyon walked up to me at a Juno show and said, you know, I read your bio, and I just want you to know that I know that you've been through some hard times in your life, and he knew about me, which I thought, wow, you don't even have to, you know, let alone offering me water from your cooler. You don't even have to say hello to me. So to know that people are there to embrace you, if you've worked hard, they can tell, you know, I've been writing for a long time, I've worked at my craft, you know, I've done a lot of my groundwork. To be accepted like that is so comforting. And, you know, I'm accepted, my band is accepted, you know, the people that come with me as my team are accepted, and it's a wonderful extended family that it's created. And if you're not part of that, believe me, you definitely stick out, because in the Canadian country world, there seems to be a real friendship and kinship, and people are trying to help each other get there and make a living.
Now, how did you find yourself a part of the 604 family?
Oh gosh, here we are in this office with pictures of Nickelback all over the walls, which doesn't totally work with my music, but Chad is supportive, I guess. And I was working at a perfume shop, like a soap kind of shop in Vancouver, and
like Lush or something?
Something like
Something like that.
I'm not even gonna give it
All right.
advertising.
Okay.
Loved the girls I worked with, but anyways, this guy came in 15 minutes before close, typical rainy fall Vancouver night, and long story short, I sold him not only shampoo but a million other things for his wife, and had a great chat with him. We had a great sort of a synergy, and as he was leaving, he said, "How do I know you? I recognize you." And I said, "Well, my name is Jessie Farrell. I'm a singer," which I never do to people because I don't even bother. I was tired that night. I was being a bit of a brat. And the next day, I dropped off my CD, and he, 3 weeks later, called me and said, you know, there's radio singles, and we got to talk. And so here I am, you know, a year and a half later, having signed a deal with 604 and Universal Records, and the record out.
What a great story.
Yeah, I mean,
Just a chance encounter.
Yeah, I like telling the story because no different from any other male or female artists in Vancouver who are just busting their butt, doing their regular gig, trying to make it work, you know, hopping on the bus, having their little backpack and their, you know, backpack guitar, and just trying to get heard. And so I figure if you work really hard, somehow, somewhere, if you can connect with the right person who gets it and knows the people and can kind of be your biggest fan and cheerleader and know what to do to get your stuff heard and out there, then hopefully it can happen.
Finally, Jessie, if we have this conversation, let's say a year from now,
yeah.
Where are you? What are you doing?
Well, darn it, I just opened for Tim and Faith, and no, I just did.
Yeah, okay.
And I never got to meet them.
You never got to meet them?
No, I'm so pissed off.
Wow. Okay. So hopefully a year from now you'll be friends with Tim and Faith.
Yeah, maybe. You know, I understand. They came in on their jet and they flew away, and I was just doing an opening act, and they do so many shows, so not really that mad. I just look forward to meeting them and Keith Urban, and hopefully just be able to keep going, keep touring. I, would love to have a little bus. Got plans to put my little quilts in there and curtains and make it really cute. I've got 2 dogs. I'd love to be touring with my dogs and my band and there's some of their family members, and just be able to make a living and meet fans and hear quirky stories about people's lives, and that's all I want.
Maybe a trophy or 2 that you've accepted on a podium somewhere?
Yeah, that's always a bonus.
Jessie Farrell, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
24hours.ca